Hello, guys. Hope you are good. And this is my first lecture, and this lecture will help to those learner who wants to make the concept about programming. Actually, if this is you are doing first time the undertaking first time the programming language, so I suggest this lecture is very important to make to make your concept that what is actually how we need to solve a generic problem and then how we can solve the programming problems. So guys, so we will start that actually what are the general problems. So most of you are using the same procedure to solve a generic problem, but maybe we don't know about that what procedures actually we are following to solve a problem. So now let's see that what are actually the general problem solving concepts. So normally there are six common steps which we use to solve a general problem. For example, first we need to identify the problem. Then we need to understand the problem because it is very important. If you don't understand the problem, so it is hard to solve that. Then identify alternative ways to solve the problems. And because guys, that when there is a problem, so there are multiple ways to solve the problem. So, and we need to choose best one of them. For example, select the best options from the list of available options. List instructions that solve the problem and evaluate the solution. So guys, normally to solve any problem, for example, problem, I'm not talking about only the complex problem. Problem could be simple problem could be complex problem. For example, you want to go out for a trip. Very simple example. So if you want to go out for a trip, so although it is a simple problem, but you need to you need to understand the problem. That for example, if you are going to for a trip, so from where you will catch the transport, how you will arrange the transport, at what time you will go for the trip, at what time you will come back for the trip, what gadgets, what items you need to arrange for trip. Do you want some hotel bookings? Do you want some friend who will accompany you? So these are the different ideas, these are the different issues which you need to sort out before going for a trip. Okay, so for example, now we will what I will take a practical example, and I will go through all these steps through that problem. For example, your problem is that today, how do the individuals wish to spend today's evening? For example, this is a very generic problem. Now, in step two, as we see here, so step two, understand the problem. So, to understand the problem, you need knowledge base of the participants must be considered. For instance, you are 5 to 6 friends, and you want to spend your today's evening. So, for that purpose, so all of you may have some knowledge that how to spend that evening. Then the selected solutions are ones that everyone involved would know how to do. So in step two, you require a knowledge base. But guys, if you don't have the knowledge base, then what comes in your mind? Very simple. If any of you don't know anything, then you need to talk to Dr. Google. So nowadays, internet has made our life very simple. So if you don't know any place, you can just ask from Google. If you don't know visiting spots, you can ask from Google. So Google is a very good resource where you can build, or where you can make up your knowledge base. Okay. So now, for example, you probably would not select as a possible solution playing a game of chess if the participant did not know how to play. It is obvious. For example, if you are 5 to 6 friends and you want to have a very good evening, or if you want to spend a very good evening, so it is obvious that you will not go for chess if 50% of your
friends, they are unsure about this or they don't know how to play. Likewise, you will not select the swimming pool to go if 50% of your friends they don't know how to swim. So it is obvious. Now step 3, identify alternatives. So what are those alternatives? For example, now you are going to list down the ways that how you can spend your evening. For example, you can go to watch movies. Yes. Then you can go to an amusement park or zoo, or you can go or to a friend party, invite friends over, or you can all of you can play video games. So these are actually the options which you can adopt. Any option can be adopted depending that how many your friends they say that which option is. Then play games, soccer, table tennis, etc., and watch television. So if you see this list, so these are the different options, although this is not an exhaustive list. Depending upon the situation, you can make a list, or sometime it might be possible that you may not have so many options. Okay. Now in step 4, select the best way to solve the problem. Okay. So now what we will do? We will take one by one. For example, I will take the first example means alternative go to movies. And then I will ask from my friends that how many of my friends they want to watch movies. So weed out alternatives that are not acceptable, such as those that cost too much money or don't interest one of the individual involved. So for example, in this case, I will take one by one the options asked from my friends, and then I will just start to weed out whatever my friends are not agreeing to. For instance, at the and to strike out the option, so you have to specify the pros and cons of each alternative. Then you have to weigh the pros and cons, means advantages or disadvantages, to make the final decision. Okay. Now, step 5 is prepare a list of steps that will result in a fun evening, and then evaluate the solution. For example, in this list, if we decide to go for the movie, for instance, option 1, okay, remaining all options we have striked out. Okay, so to watch a movie, now you have to prepare a list of steps. What you need to do? Number one step, under step 5, what you will write as an instruction, what movie you are going to see or watch. Number 1. Number 2, what will be the mode of transportation. Number 3, who will coordinate movie ticket. Number four, who will arrange transport. Number 5, what will be the assembly point where everyone will come. And number 6, from at what time you have to come out from your house. Number 7, at what time you should be on the assembly point. Number 7, that from assembly point at what time you will go to the cinema. Number 9, in cinema, what type of refreshment you need, because this is a collective party or collective activity. So, what refreshment you want there, and who is organize all this event, and then number 11, that at what time you will come back to the assembly point, or as you will prefer to drop at your home houses. So all these instructions you need to write. Sometimes you need to write, sometimes these instructions are in your mind, and you make or held responsible a single person who will coordinate, organize all this stuff. At the end of all these activities, then you need to evaluate that whether your evening was a fun or what. So this actually you need to do. So this is actually, guys, this is actually a generic way that how actually we resolve a problem or whatever we are having a problem. So how actually we use the generic steps to resolve that problem. And I am 100% sure that all of you are applying these steps in your daily basis life problems to solve in your daily basis life problem. But maybe or may not be you know it, or you may not know it. So anyways, this is actually a general way that how we can solve a generic problem. Okay, guys, I will share with you the class activity in my second video so that you can perform that activity. And in my comment section, there's my channel, so in my that channel you can share the solution of your activities. I will just go through the solution, and if your solution is okay, so I can just write my comments. Okay. Now guys, so now we will see the types of problems. All problems, they don't have the same type, so they are different type of problems. For example, balancing a checkbook or baking a cake can be solved with a series of actions, so it is a straightforward solution. For example, how to fill a checkbook, so it is very important, straightforward. Once you know it, and forever you can do it one by one. Likewise, if you want to bake a cake, so you need a recipe and you need to follow those steps to just make to bake a cake. So these are called the straightforward solutions. And if these solutions are there, so these are called the algorithmic solutions. What are these called? Algorithmic solutions. Okay. So guys, once the alternative have been eliminated, for example, and once one has chosen the best among several methods of balancing the checkbook, the solution can be reached by completing the action in steps. So that is called algorithm. And how we can define algorithm? Very simple. The number of steps which we need to follow to perform or to complete a specific task. Okay. Now, some problems, they don't have straightforward solution. For example, if you how to buy the best stock or whether to expand the company. For example, you need smartphones, you need to buy a smartphone. So this is not straightforward, because there are lot many parameters you need to consider. For example, what type of brand, how much memory is there, what type of camera you require, and blah blah blah. So there are a lot of things you need to consider while choosing a smartphone. And honestly speaking, whenever you need a smartphone, you have to ask different options. You need to ask from friends, from relatives, that which smartphone is good. Maybe sometime you will Google it to just see the rating of the brands. So such and one thing more. For instance, you purchased a very good smartphone. Your relatives or your friends, they have given you suggestion, and you bought a fantastic, fabulous smartphone. But when you started to work on your smartphone, so your experience was not good for that brand. So this is actually called trial and error procedure. That maybe your personal experience was not good with that brand, and next time when you have the opportunity to purchase a new smartphone, so maybe then you will not consider your previous brand to purchase again. So such type of problems, they actually are called heuristic problems, and they need heuristic solution. And heuristic solution, we need to go through trial and error steps every time. Okay, so still you can use those 6 steps which we follow to solve a generic problem. But in evaluation of solution, the correctness and appropriateness of heuristic solutions are far less certain. Okay. For example, it is easy to tell if your completed checkbook balance is correct and satisfactory, but it is hard to tell if you have bought the best mobile phone, for example. So nobody can say that, oh, you bought the best mobile phone or cell phone. Okay. So to find out heuristic solutions, we need to follow the 6 steps more than once and then carefully evaluating each possible solution before deciding which is the best one. So this is the only difference, that if the type of problem is algorithmic problem, so then you not need to worry, you just follow the those 6 steps. Likewise, if the type of problem is a generic problem, you can just follow those 6 steps. In heuristic type of problems, you again need to follow all those 6 steps, but only the thing which you need to do, that you need to go through those steps again and again so that you can choose the best option. Okay guys, hope this video will help you a lot. And now uh, I will discuss about the problem solving with computers. So guys, those problems which we have talked about, those problems are generic problems, and then we discuss about the type of problems. And as I told you that there are two types of problem in generic sense. One is heuristic problem, other one is algorithmic problem. Heuristic problem is actually the difficult problem, and those problems all the time they need a lot of things to consider. Okay, now because in programming problem we are dealing with computers, so now we will see that how actually problem solving with computers. Okay, so let me tell you that computers deal with algorithmic solutions which are often difficult or very time consuming for humans. So for example, if you want to enter the name of 100 students, or if you want to enter the information about the 1000 customer, so this is a very simple algorithmic type of problem, but it is laborious if I say to a human that okay, this is the list of 1000 customers, so please this is the register, enter the information, write the detail of the customer in that register. So it is a human can do, but it is a laborious task. And there is one thing more, that the human can do mistakes. So but for computers it is very very easy. For computers, they can take this task, and most of the time, or I must say that in most cases we are using computers for such type of activities, means that computers most of the time they are doing or solving algorithmic type of problem for us. Okay, so but what about what the task where computer needs to tell how to speak or throw ball? It is not easy. For example, nowadays you have seen in your exams that MCQs, multiple choice questions, they can be easily done by computers. And most of the MCQs, you know it, that maybe at times you got a chance to give such type of exams, and such type of exams are conducted by computers. But where you need to write an essay, where you need to write some evaluations, some statements, where you need to just go through it and you need to be graded. So it is not being done by computers because it needs lot of artificial intelligence, and such type of problem are the heuristic problem. So normally we don't use computers for the solution of the heuristic problems. And the reason is that because artificial intelligence is required nowadays. Maybe you have heard the word machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence. So these are actually those areas which are still under progress. And uh, and yes, you we can say that we have achieved some part of artificial intelligence, but still there is long way to go. So in programming problems, or in this course, for example, all languages courses, whether it is Python, Java, or other languages, or C Sharp. So normally we are dealing in these courses, for programming courses, we are dealing with the algorithmic problems, that how to resolve those algorithmic problems. I hope this lecture will help you to build your concept at how to tackle a algorithmic problem, and then how to tackle a generic problem. Okay, so now guys, in my next video I will share with you the activity, and what you need to do in that. You need to apply all these steps in those activities, and you need to share in comment box your solution, so that then we can see that whether you have done the solution or provided the solution rightly or correctly or incorrectly, and I will suggest you that how you can correct your solution. Thank you very much for your time. Bye bye.